Greetings, and welcome to Elder Goblin Games. This is going to be quite a different video. I'm just going to give some of my post-GenCon thoughts and talk about some of the products I picked up while I was there. So let's kick things off with the horde of books and products I brought back. By the way, I'm going to barely edit this video, so hopefully you enjoy it, but this is going to be quite different. But before we dig into what I got at Gen Con, literally like the week before, I got this bad boy in the mail, and man, I don't think there's a game I'd be more excited to run right now, except maybe, Land of Eam. But there are two wolves in me, and they want to play these games, even though they're very different stylistically. This game just has such a weird, unique vibe. Like, the knights are so strange, and it's got this kind of, I don't know, like Dark Souls, Elden Ring thing going on to it, which is definitely my jam. Check it out. Both of these won lots of Ennies, which I was excited to see because I just think these guys write good stuff. And I'm looking forward to playing these two games right now. All right, with that out of the way, let's get into the haul. So first off, I stopped by the old Cosmere room to pick up some of these Chasm Fiend magazines. I don't really even know what's in them, but I just thought they looked cool and I want to have them on my shelf. And I didn't actually back the Cosmere RPG because at the time I was like, I've got enough epic fantasy things coming. But then I hung out with What is Tabletop, and Frank and Charles got to play, and it actually looked really cool, and I'm kind of mad at myself for not picking up physical books. So, yep, missed opportunity, but it's a little late now. So, I also went by Goodman Games just to take a peek at the Ziggurat, and I ended up picking up Hole in the Sky because it's an adventure I've heard a lot of buzz about, and they were just like handing out these for free, and I always like to have more of these for players at my table. And you may ask, Jorben, what is that cool shirt you're wearing? Eschaton is a game about being in a cult and being the most culty of all the cultists. I didn't end up picking up the board game because I really just didn't want to carry it around all Gen Con on my back. But I did see this little supplement box here called Dread Shores and Black Horizons, which has this like very kind of ShadowDark pirate board kind of feel to it. It's like a system neutral setting with a bunch of island kind of stuff. Man, I need to run a shadow board campaign where it's basically like Sea of Thieves and you just crawl around from island to island. That really appeals to me right now. But I'm going to open it up and show you what's inside. All right, well, it's taking longer than I thought to peel the plastic off, but it came with these two little books, and I'll just show this one real quick. I mean, the art is awesome, and it's like what you would expect out of a sort of OSR style zine. Couple little island crawls, this cool looking tower, which I think is also on the cloth map. Halbart, the Beacon Keeper. It just looks awesome, and I really want to do more pirate things, so check out this cloth map, the Cursed Isle. And there you can see the little tower adventure at the very top. Very cool bit of detail. Speaking of piratey things, I went over to the Pirate Board booth and I picked up Buried in the Bahamas and The Sinking of Carthagen. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but the font is hard to read, so. These both look awesome. This is like an introductory adventure for Pirate Board, and I just have to show this off because the art inside is incredible. Boom. I don't know how well this is going to show up on the camera, but man, I just fawned over this the second I opened it, and I was like, well, I'm going home with that. That has to be on my list. What a cool, like, sea cave adventure crawl. I am super stoked to run this, probably in Pirate Board. Yeah, I mean, I've got so much pirate material now, I think, between all of this stuff and like Hot Springs Island and the Wraithlands. Man, I could run a killer pirate campaign right now, and I think that would be so much fun. Pirate Borg! Speaking of Pirate Borg, I met Luke and he was awesome. I got to go to his birthday party thing, and there were so many incredible people there. It was a ton of fun. He gave a great little birthday speech. All right, I'm gonna get a little sip of coffee here. Okay, and if you followed my channel for any amount of time, you know that I'm a ShadowDark guy, and I had to go stop by the ShadowDark booth, and I got some awesome little knickknacks and adventures and things. We'll start with this. I got these tokens. They're little punch-out tokens that are like pogs, basically, and a slammer that has a sting bat on it. I'm definitely a 90s kid, so I was super stoked to see these. And then I met Michael Putlack, who was just the nicest human being and is the assistant librarian of the Arcane Library. And he gave me one of his zines that he helped make called The Fungal Problem, which looks awesome. It's this like little weird, zany fungus adventure with all kinds of strange psychedelic things going on, and creating and adapting monsters for use in ShadowDark RPG, which I will definitely be getting some use out of, and a zine that he wrote called Attack of the Light, which is just formatted really great. It's really concise. You could pretty much do like a one-shot adventure or like an introductory game with this, so I look forward to using this maybe at my FLGS. Oh, and check out Night Noon Games if you haven't. He's got his own channel where he talks about like ShadowDark kind of stuff. So, all right, I'm getting buried in my stuff over here. I got to put it up. Oh, and while we're talking about it, I also went to the Deathbringer event and got this cool little pin. Along with a few others, Wally DM played Tales from Elsewhere with us, so I got one of his. And, you know, I had to go by the Dragonbane booth, which I picked up this pin. And the only dice I got from the entire event were from Tales from Elsewhere. These are like the wound dice. They look like little bullets, which is awesome. And I had to stop by Free League's booth to get their die. And I love the Dragonbane die just for roll under games because the 1 is a dragon, which lets you know, be excited about a 1. And the 20 is a demon, which I don't know if you can see. And while we're talking little knickknacks, of course, there was a Dwarven Forge booth and they give you a freebie just for coming by, which is awesome. And just because they were the most fun crew to run around with, I have to mention the Tales from Elsewhere guys, What is Tabletop, Scrat from Squirrel Plays, and I got to meet Ducky, who is running this game called Peasantry that looks really cool, but he forgot to give me a copy, so I can't show it off right now, so send me a copy. They were such an awesome crew to hang with. It really elevated my Gen Con experience, having people there that I felt connected to and really knew, and who I've known for a while now here on YouTube. So I just wanted to give the Mighty Morphin Power Tubers a shout out because it was such a blast hanging out with you guys and getting to play Tales from Elsewhere, which is awesome, by the way, and you should go check it out. And I'm going to do an ad read right now. Hey, partner. Are you tired of stale fantasy tropes? You're looking for something a little more strange? Come, partake of my fire and allow me to read you a tale from elsewhere. I was there, working the rail yards when the barriers between realities split. When the calamity, as they now call it, arrived on our world. When the horrors, nameless and unspeakable, poured forth from its dark depths. Our home was once a beautiful and prosperous land. Before the creatures came, before the clockwork. Tales from Elsewhere Clockwork is a post-apocalyptic, Weird West action horror role-playing game. A game where you play as hardy survivors, everyday folk like me attempting to survive the horrors of Elsewhere after the calamity tore apart the barrier between realities, as it does. This game uses a visceral injury system combined with called shots while keeping the math light and the violence high. Character creation is open-ended, where the players pick from over 50 backstory elements that they mix and match to create their unique survivor. You could be a preacher who was raised among the Church of Ashes, who's on the hunt for men that left him for dead. Or maybe you're a prospector from a small business, a once city slicker that got chased out of town. The combinations are endless. The game features narrative-heavy threats and monsters, with rich folklore and mysterious origins inspired by real fears and anxieties of 19th century peoples like myself. For instance, the Kentucky Sawbones is a manifestation of my fear of amputation, while the Blood Oiler evoked the dehumanization and unstoppable nature of the Industrial Revolution. The game is the brainchild of a personal friend of mine and fellow dungeon tuber, Peter, of Tales from Elsewhere, a channel where you can find insightful evidence into the philosophies behind game design, such as the one that probably went into this game right here. The Kickstarter goes live September 2nd, and buddy, that is a train you don't want to miss. But the pre-launch is happening right now. So go over there right now, click to stay informed, or else I'm going to have to skin this smoke wagon. And buddy, you don't want to see that. Sign up now, pages are live, now back to your regularly scheduled programming. Alright, back to books. Of course, I had to go by the Burning Wheel / Torchbearer booth and get this little supplement here. It's 6 new classes for Torchbearer. Bounder, Dreamwalker, Noble Scion, Sorcerer, Stone Teller, Summoner. There's some awesome stuff in here. I got to meet the team. They were really cool, and I'm a big Torchbearer guy, so yep. Now, I didn't get a ton of brand new systems or really big text-based sized books because I just didn't want to carry them around the con. I mean, I did like 66,000 steps between 4 days. I looked at my phone and I'd done like 15,000 steps a day or something. It was nuts. One of the bigger books I did end up grabbing was this Colossal Dungeons, because I'd recently picked up Colossal. It's the only solo RPG I think I own, other than like supplements for things like ShadowDark or Dragonbane. But I've been really excited about this. This game has like a very Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom kind of vibe, and I just love the idea of the Roomlands. In fact, I've even thought about just taking the concept of this and like running an entire galaxy where there are like square planets, and inside of them, at the heart of each planet, are these giant dungeons called the Roomlands. So, picked up this book. I'm excited to see what's in it. I'm looking forward to digging into it, playing some solo RPG by myself. But yeah, check out Colossal if you haven't. There's a great video on cozy RPG reviews. It got me to buy the book, so I'll link it. Oh, and along with that, there were like these card decks you could pick up. I just got the basic one because the game uses like a basic deck of cards in order to, adjudicate what happens. And these were just stylized. Yeah, they've got the cool little logo with the rook on the back. And, they just really do have that like Breath of the Wild feel with some of the symbols and stuff. And some of the face cards, It was a really unique deck. And man, they feel really great. Like the card stock is really high quality. I wish I'd bought like all the class decks too, but I really was trying to stay in my budget, so I ended up saying no to a lot of things I really wanted to say yes to. But speaking of cards, I stopped by the Darrington Press booth. I wanted to pick up a copy of Daggerheart just because, it's the next new fantasy sexiness. But they were out of physical boxes for the starter set. I did order one online, and they gave me one of these little boxes of cards, and the cards actually look really nice. I'm not one of those haters. I kind of understand the move towards cards in modern games. I actually think that's quite a good quality of life update. They're just those players. I don't know how often you hang out with younger generations, but they might not want to read or write a lot, which I totally get when you're learning a new game. I do it too. I'm not just putting it on a younger generation. Sometimes I really don't want to read or, copy down the entire text of a single spell or ability. So like this movement towards a card system, I think, is a really solid choice. And I'm happy to see it. As a guy who's been playing Magic the Gathering for, 22 years or something ridiculous, it's awesome. Yeah, I'm a fan. I'm all for it. So looking forward to getting my actual Daggerheart box, but for the time being, I get to look at these little cards and, kind of see what the game is going to feel like. All right, this one was on the shelf, and this is one of the bigger things I did end up buying, but I don't own any Modifius 2D20 systems, and I'm a huge Fallout fan. For me, like video game-wise, it's like Bethesda and FromSoft, they're neck and neck for me as like game developers. So I was super excited when I saw this box set. I don't own anything Fallout, like RPG wise, and I definitely wanted to get a Modifius game, so this was a no-brainer. It's got a little starter adventure in there, some fun dice and some bottle caps and things. So I'm looking forward to breaking into this, and it looked like it had really great pre-gens and stuff, and I love a good box set. So okay, there's not too much left. I'll try to keep this kind of short, but I did get to meet JP Couvert, and he handed me one of his Dragontown books, which I was not expecting, but I think of everything that I got from the con, I'm most excited about this book, and it's the only one I didn't buy. So thank you so much, JP. I'm really looking forward to digging into this. I just love your art style. I think this game looks awesome. I'm going to give you guys a little peek inside, because why not? There's this map in the front that's just gorgeous. I feel like it has this fun, kind of whimsical style. I could even see running this in like Land of Eam or something. And it's got like a comic book in the front. It's good stuff. JP does not make bad stuff. And I've been saying this for a long time on this channel, but I am all for seeing more system neutral things out there. Like, just tell people that there are goblins in the cave, and whatever system you're running, put those goblins in there. So looking forward to this. I'm going to dig into it probably today. And while I'm at it, I do want to stop and say that everyone I met was so nice and generous and took time to talk to me about whatever, whether it was their products or something I was excited about, or, just geeking out about my first Gen Con. It was a lot of fun. I can't believe some of the people that I got to meet, and even some of the people that recognize me. It kind of blew my mind that, like, I don't know, Kelsey watches my channel. She signed my book. I'll prove it. She said she lurks at my channel. I did it. This is Shadow Dark news now. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that. But that's pretty much what I've got from Gen Con. But I did want to add, as soon as I got home and right after my car broke down, I saw these in the mail and I'm so stoked. These are Knock issues 1 through 4. 5, I think, is still on its way. But these are some of the coolest, like, old school OSR style zines ever. They're just chock full of, like, old school philosophy. What makes it cool? I've been digging through these and I'm just absolutely over the moon about them. They're so full of, like, ideas and concepts and, like, ways to up your, like, old school style of play. They're kind of like your best vignette into old school games if you've never read them before. I mean, the first one, I just opened the pages and it's like the why of OSR. It's the philosophies behind it. It tells you not just, like, what to do or how to do it, but the why of why you do it. I just think these are so good and I can't say enough about them. Check them out. They're at the Merry Mushman and they're kind of hard to get if you're overseas, you know, like I am. But I went with the Kickstarter and boy, am I glad that I got all 5 copies because they're just, I can't say enough about these. Last and certainly not least, this was not a Gen Con pickup, but my birthday was right before Gen Con, and so my wife grabbed me the Rickety Stitch, the thing that the Land of Eam was based on. These are graphic novels by Ben Costa and James Parks, the guys who wrote Land of Eam and have been writing this for years. And I got to talk to them and I switched their names, so don't do that, don't be that guy. And I'm just really looking forward to these. These are just quality, and having the slipcase is really making me regret not getting the slipcase for Land of Eam. But other than that, I am looking forward to reading them. I think these look really fun and are going to give me some more insight into the world. And when I was talking to them, they said they've been writing this comic for 20 years and they just have a ton of backlog for world building and more, like, hex crawl supplements. So if you want to get into Land of Eam, there's going to be so much material for it that you have a lot of things to look forward to. Well, that's really it for this video. I just wanted to talk about some of the things I picked up while I was at Gen Con and some of the awesome people I got to meet. It was such a fun time. I mean, like, you're just walking down the halls and it's like, oh, hey, there's Mike Merles and, oh, that's Chris Perkins, you know. Okay, that's it for this video. I just wanted to talk about some of Gen Con and how fun and crazy and overwhelming it was. Yeah, wear good shoes, like Professor Dungeon Master said, but also wear good socks, because holes wore through my socks on the first day and I got blisters immediately, and I regret that decision. Oh, there's so much more I could say about Gen Con, and I probably could make a whole other video just talking about some of my personal experiences there, but I don't know how much people actually care or want to hear that, so I'm just going to keep this short and make this kind of like a stuff I got video more than anything. Thank you guys for watching. I learned that there are actually people who watch my channel. I even met a few of them while I was there, and that was really encouraging to me to know that I'm not just talking to the void, but people actually end up checking out some of the things that I talk about here or using some of the advice, which is really important to me. Hey, it's me, your pal Jorben. I always forget to promote my own channel, so if you enjoy what we do here, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you really enjoyed this video, share it with some friends that you think might also enjoy it. It really makes a difference and helps the channel grow, and I really appreciate it personally. And if you're enjoying the Quantum Ogre cast, please leave a review on iTunes or wherever you catch pods. There will also be a link tree down below if you would like to join the Discord or follow me on other social media platforms such as Instagram. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of the video. All right, I got a lot of stuff to catch up on, and I want to say more, but just know that Gen Con is wild, and it's a fun time, and it's nerds getting together to nerd out about the nerdy things that they love, because we're all nerds. Okay, thanks for listening. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully it was a fun vignette into what Gen Con was like for one guy. Look out for some awesome future guests on the Quantum Ogre cast. I'm not going to say everybody because I got some thumbs up, but until I get them on the calendar, just to be safe, I don't want to get you too excited. But I'm really excited about some of the people I met and who agreed to my silly little podcast. And of course, as always, remember to learn, adapt, and grow.